All right, guys, so it's important that we do, continuous training in how to improve things. A lot of things are, B plus all the time, but we're always trying to get A plus every time. So this is an existing house built sometime around the 80s. And every house that we build is probably going to be around for, a long time. We want to be around it for, at least 150 years. First thing I want to hit on is, we got to have layered lighting. So as you can see, we got one light switch here, and this is an Airbnb house, and I've already kind of dirtied it up and thought about doing this video later. But you can see here, you got one switch and it controls all the lighting. So at midnight, when you're walking in the bathroom, it's got to be super bright. A dimmer switch could have fixed that. Two switches, one for the vanity, one for the overhead light. That could have fixed it. So mirrors, we do want to make sure we put a trim piece on the mirrors, and we want to have, so stuff like that can get covered up. And if you're making one of these, make sure you put the glue at least half an inch lower than the top of the wood on the back of it, or you'll see the glue on the back, it'll reflect. Another thing to pay attention to is your door swings. So the way this shower works is you got to walk around this door to be able to get in there. We didn't do this, but you can just simply put the hinges on that side and the door will open up. And also in the shower, make sure you pick out one that has a built-in shower niche, and that'll help things quite a bit. This shower is a little bit on the dark side, so something to think about. I don't know if I would put a light straight above it, but I might put, like if I were doing this, I would put a gimbal can light in. I'd put it in the center, and then I would point it towards the side, and that way it could really make this pop. It's also good to kind of do some just about every master bedroom is going to have a king size bed in it, which is 76 inches wide. A little over 6 feet, I think. I think it's 76 inches wide. And you can put a wall light and a switch on each side. You can also put a couple switches on one side for the exterior lights. In case you hear a bump in the night, just flip it on. Something that we all want to think about as we're planning these houses out. We also want to make sure that we think about all the furniture in the rooms, because this is a queen size bed. It is 60 inches wide, but we don't have enough room to put a nightstand on that side or on that side, and even on that side it'd be blocking the door. So something to think about is, there could have been a built-in something there. I'm not sure why these walls are this thick. Typically a wall is no more than 5 inches thick unless it's cinder block, and then it's still not that thick. So I don't know why those are that thick. Just something to think about. You could also put a Murphy bed there. You could do like something mounted on the wall that flips down and flips up. Stuff to think about as you're planning these houses out in the early stages. This room was actually done really well with, kind of the wood siding on one side, the couch, the desk. They even thought about it and put, the internet phone line cable there for back when those were popular. And this is probably one of the most important ones and this one, I hope a lot of plumbers are watching this, because I don't see anybody doing this except for us. So you got to step over this toilet. You don't even have a handle on this side. You got to open that up, and then you got to reach in, you got to kind of dodge the water. You turn that on, and you can tell how people have pointed that away so they don't get wet. A much easier way of doing that would have simply been to run those hoses through that wall. You can even run it through the ceiling if you're doing a remodel. But run that through there and then put all that stuff right there. Turn that on, and you don't have to touch that toilet. You don't have to touch any of that. All right. The other thing to think about is, like, where's the ironing board? Where's the ironing going to take place? This one ended up having to be in the middle of the hallway. Temporary, of course, but why couldn't, you just do a built-in one in the laundry room? thermostats, it's always good to put those, think about where you're gonna put yours, because it's, that's where your sensor is. So you gotta think about where that's gonna go. All right, and your microwave. It's on top of the table, but it'd be much better if it were in the pantry or built into a cabinet. But if it's in the pantry, it's out of sight for a long time. And also, when you're doing touch-up paint, you got to paint the whole door. Even white paint on white paint, it won't work. Even if it came out of the same can, it won't work. Okay, so if you're doing a vaulted ceiling, you can make this look a lot better by simply building in what's called a bird box, which the trim guy basically comes in and center on the crease there builds a box, so that way the electrician has a flat surface just for the ceiling fan to go in. All right, a couple things I noticed outside. This one was actually a good one. If you got a steep driveway, a lot of times if you can put just a little bit of a hump right there, so you got at least 15 feet, enough for both your wheels, well, both your axles, to get on top of the flatter surface. Because if you park on a surface like this, your car is just gonna you could roll back really fast, or your doors could not open. Something that is also easily avoidable is your vents. That vent's not the prettiest. It could go on the very back of the house and not be visible, as long as you get it above the roof. And then ACs, we always try to get those in the shade, and preferably underneath a deck or out of the rain. We do got to think about where the dryer vent is going to come out, and like your water spigots, we have to think about those. We typically put those on a T-wall, a wall that's in the shape of a T, so that way we can get as much insulation around them as possible. But all things you got to think about, like where the meter box is going to go. You want them out of street view, out of your main primary view, but also easily accessible and out of the elements. So a couple training points, things to think about, and they'll help make everybody's house a lot nicer.